I have fungi on my socks, so maybe my pun is that I'm a fungi, but a fungal. I don't know.
Our wood preservative lab has a number of facilities. That lab also performs a lot of tests. We actually have stake tests that were established 60 years ago that are still in the ground, believe it or not.
Our two main test field sites are in Madison, Wisconsin and in Sauger, Mississippi, which represents two different hazard zones in terms of risk of decay and termite activity. Insects damage wood in two different ways. In one way, they will actually consume the wood material itself, so they're actually using the wood as a food resource. And then the other way is using it as a place to nest in. One of our main focus areas is looking at military wood packaging boxes. So the military requires these boxes to be able to withstand 2 years in a field environment anywhere around the world and over 20 years in storage conditions. And so a lot of our work has looked at trying to make sure that whatever chemical they're using meets those durability requirements. So when we first started working on this project, the main organisms we were focused on were the decay fungi and the termites. These are really major threats when you get field exposure.
I work on decay fungi, trying to understand what makes them decay wood. This can be anywhere from watching them eat a piece of wood, which it takes a lot longer than you think. We work with the American Wood Protection Association, and they create standards to test different wood treatments against different organisms that break down wood. These are laboratory testing that we perform. Once the fungi are growing, we then introduce whatever wood product that we're testing. So it could be untreated wood, it could be treated wood, it could be new products like cross-laminated timber. Those are subjected to our already growing fungi, and then the fungi are incubated at a certain temperature and time. So we wait until they break down the wood. At the end of the test, we measure the weight loss of the wood, and that equates to how effectively the wood is broken down by the fungus.
The big metal box behind us is a custom-built dip tank that we had fabricated exclusively for military packaging and trailer decking applications. And a lot of different formats here for treating various kinds of wood, either through pressure or dip treatment. We typically want to suit up. These are chemical resistant Tyvek suits for safety to keep chemicals from splashing on our skin. Basically, dip treating is the easiest, most economical way to incorporate a preservative in wood based on the specification. Then the sample is pulled out. We typically weigh it afterwards to see how much preservative is actually pulled into the wood, because we can calculate chemical concentration that way. Then it goes into a drying rack to kind of dry and equilibrate. So a lot of the treatments that we do here will feed our long-term field testing. We've been doing that since about the 1920s.
The thing that excites me the most about my research here at the Forest Products Laboratory is it has real-world applicability. Wood is a part of every building that we pretty much enter, so we're able to understand and try to keep these structures lasting longer.